Hi, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Ivan.
And together we are the Disney couple.
Previously, in Part 1, we saw the creation of Epcot, from the buying up of the land in Florida, to concept work and proposed construction, to the untimely passing of Walt Disney, which would dramatically shift the project from a living city to the creation of Walt Disney World. Then after Walt Disney World was completed, Roy Disney suddenly passes. Then after many years, Epcot Center finally breaks ground and opens on October 1st, 1982, and dazzles the world with its glimpse into the future. Now stay tuned as we continue on with the history of Epcot.
However, as amazing as Epcot was, just like its original mission statement, Epcot too had to change to keep relevant with culture. Starting around the 1990s, many of the original attractions were either closed or revamped. Communicore would close and then reopen as Innoventions, showcasing over the years different technology and displays. At one point, you could even ride a Segway. Spaceship Earth would close again for a second major renovation in 1994, and several scenes were removed and updated, including the scene Home Computer and the final Tomorrow's Child. And when the ride reopened, Jeremy Irons was the new narrator. Illuminations was introduced as the new nighttime show and would have several versions until 1999, when Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, would begin. Universe of Energy would become Ellen's Energy Adventure. World of Motion would become Test Track. And very sadly, Horizons was demolished and became Mission Space. Also, seasonal events were added, such as the International Flower and Garden Festival and the International Food and Wine Festival in 1994 and 1995. Later on, the Living Seas was closed in 2005 and rethemed as The Seas with Nemo and Friends. And due to an Imagineer who had a spark of inspiration and an old erector set over a Thanksgiving break, Soarin' was introduced in the Land Pavilion, straight from Disney's California Adventure, that same year to tremendous success. Captain EO over in the Imagination Pavilion was replaced with Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, yet another 3D film, and later on, in 1988, the Journey into Imagination was changed to Journey into Your Imagination, and saw Figment largely removed from the ride, with the Dreamfinder completely gone. After some negative feedback, the ride was closed again, and this time Figment was restored, although Dreamfinder is still nowhere to be found. 2003 would see the Wonder of China film updated with Reflections of China. 2007 saw the closing of the Wonders of Life, occasionally being used for special events, and it too was closed permanently. 2007 also saw the El Rio del Tiempo close in Mexico, and then reopen as the Three Cabreros. Spaceship Earth would also close and reopen in 2008 with more scene changes, the removal of the Mickey wand on the outside, and Dame Judi Dench now as the narrator. O Canada was closed and then updated, now being narrated by Martin Short. Captain EO would return in 2010 and then would close permanently in 2015. 2014 saw the closure of the Norway attraction Maelstrom, which would open as Frozen Ever After on June 1st, 2016. Innoventions, both East and West, would close with Innoventions West being demolished, and Innoventions East would later house the Creation Shop, the new location of Club Cool, and eventually a new restaurant called Connections Cafe and Eatery. In 2016, it was announced that Epcot would finally receive a multi-year redesign and expansion. This would see Ellen's Energy Adventure close and become Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, and also the addition of Ratatouille. Later on in 2019, at D23, it was announced that Epcot would later get 4 neighborhoods. World Celebration would now include Spaceship Earth and expand all the way back to the 2 outposts. World Discovery would contain the Guardians Test Track and Mission Space, And World Nature would include the land, the seas with Nemo and friends, and Journey into Imagination. With World Showcase remaining, Soarin' closed for refurbishment in January 2016, and that same year in June reopened as Soarin' Around the World. Also, new font was introduced into the name Epcot, as a nod to the original, complete with the Epcot Rose, also returning and flags being reintroduced in the front of the park, symbolizing the original attractions, and new attractions too, although Epcot no longer is used as an acronym as it once was. 2019 would see Illuminations, Reflections of Earth close, and then Epcot Forever would take its place after almost 20 years. Canada Far and Wide would open on January 17, 2020, now being narrated by Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy. That same year, it was announced that Spaceship Earth would be closing for refurbishment, but then that project was put on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 2021 would see the LED lighting installed on Spaceship Earth, allowing for even more incredible displays at night, in conjunction with Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration, in which time Harmonious also debuted on October 1st, 2021.
Now we find ourselves in the present day. Epcot is currently in the middle of the proposed construction that was announced years ago, where the middle of the park, back behind Spaceship Earth, is all enclosed in construction walls, earning the name of Walcott at the present moment. Of the many things that are currently being worked on is a journey of water inspired by Moana. Just think about waterfalls, streams, and just a nice place to cool off, while learning about the natural balance of the water cycle. Dreamer's Point will feature a statue of Walt Disney located behind Spaceship Earth as Walt sits and dreams about the future. Also in this area are some much-needed shade trees and places to sit down and enjoy all the lush greenery that will be coming our way. Throughout the year, there will be different decorations in this area, tying into the different holiday and Epcot festival offerings at that time. Moving further back toward the World Showcase will be Communicore Hall and Plaza, which is in the same footprint as Communicore West and Innovations West used to be. Here will be a multi-use stage area, and also a place to display different art collections and even show kitchens. Everything should be wrapped up right around the end of 2023. I'm looking forward to see and experience all the new offerings that are being worked on. Even though we will never experience Epcot as it was drawn up, there are several nods to the original concept. Perhaps one of the most famous is a scaled-down version of Progress City, which is the name of the city in Walt's original Epcot film, which was called Epcot City. And this model is located in Tomorrowland at the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover, where in the attraction it is described as Walt Disney's dream for an experimental prototype community of tomorrow. So if you look carefully, you'll be able to see the city, as pictured right here. Also in Epcot, over in the New Connections Cafe and Eatery, on the floor, you will see a blueprint of Epcot as well. I remember visiting Epcot a few years after it had opened, and it was an amazing place. In fact, it still is, with inspiration around every corner. Countless people have been and are still inspired to dream the impossible. And as you walk through the gate and stare at the gigantic geodesic sphere, commonly referred to as the golf ball, I can easily get swept away just thinking about the men and women who work tirelessly to bring this amazing encyclopedia progress to life, where anyone can be inspired to learn about anything. Just like Walt Disney said many years ago, it's kind of fun to do the impossible.
Thanks for watching today's episode.
And remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications.
Have a magical day.